Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
Welcome to The Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, this is an extended segment of the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WSRadioNetwork.com. And we are here with, I forgot, don't want to forget my sponsors here. We are brought to you by pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. And, of course, the great company, SIR. They've been around since like the late 60s, early 70s, supplying all the top artists with gear. And speaking of that, we've got a great guy here who just happened to be in town, and we brought him on the show. We met you at the NAMM show. Well, Paul met you at the NAMM show, and he told me about this great company that has this unique piece of gear. It's a slide where you don't actually have to customize your guitar to play the slide. That it's got a unique technology that allows you to play it on even the lowest action guitar. And this is Alex Calder from Slidewinder. And Alex, say hello to everybody.
Well, first of all, it's a distinct pleasure to be here, Florentino. And hello, folks out there in Guitar Land who've always wanted to play slide guitar and fingers at the same time. I got lucky and found a way to do that very easily. And so I'm here to share that with you.
Yeah, and it's very awesome. Paul's been I got to get him off to playing slide guitar now. He has to play. That's a funk track, Paul. We're not doing slide guitar on that. So Alex, tell me, you're a player, obviously, because usually we all start off with that.
Sure.
Where did all this come about? Are you a big? Did you start off being a big slide player? Is that kind of where this started?
Well, like probably 95% of the players out there, I started learning your basic chords and playing songs and then soloing. And then you hear slide guitar in the style of Duane Allman or Ry Cooder. And you say, wow, that sounds so great. I'd love to add that to my repertoire. And then the deceptive thing or seductive thing, depending upon your point of view, is it looks so easy. Okay, he's just got a tube on his fingers. He's touching the strings and moving it around. How tough could that be?
Yeah. And it's not that I don't attempt it myself, but continue on, sir. I'm sorry.
Sure. No, I'm happy to answer questions because it is one of those things that I have to be upfront here that everything I say about the Slidewinder is going to sound absolutely, we all know this can't be true kind of thing. But I got lucky one day when this goes back to Jimi Hendrix playing that famous solo in All Along the Watchtower. He has this slide part that everybody has heard, and I always wondered how he did it. So when I was first learning some songs, I was figuring out, wow, that's a really cool thing to throw in the middle of a song and surprise people and then go back to playing your fingers. And I asked my guitar teachers, how is it possible he did that from fingers to slide, back to fingers? And there wasn't a lot of agreement on that. I think there's been some stories recently to explain that. But as I asked around, it turns out a lot of people had that same question. And I come from science, so I always think, well, there's a way to figure this out, or at least devise a way to play that. And if I'm playing a solo or playing somewhere, I can throw some slide stuff in there. Well, it turns out a lot of people have chased that same path. There's all sorts of different slide-type mini rings and, things that try to accomplish that. And my experience was always, well, that still means you've got to learn to play slide, and it's always very difficult. And so I tried several different things over the last, 32 years or so. And I got lucky one day when I was working with different slide attachments to rings at certain angles to really keep your fingers fully usable. And then I discovered the power of rare earth magnets. And this solved all the problems in an instant. And it was one of those eureka moments that you hear about inventors, come to, where you say, aha, I can't believe it, but I've solve this problem. And so what happened is, as I began to optimize it, I began to realize, wow, not only is this the holy grail in terms of it lets you play slide beautifully, easily, and cleanly, but you have full use of your fingers at the same time. So it turns out that because your fingers are right there with the slide on the ring, that you can add your fingers as you're playing slide. And this is normally pretty tricky and limited.
Yeah.
With the Slidewinder ring, I discovered it's not limited at all. So there's a whole bunch of new techniques that are now possible. And it's been very exciting for me to introduce that to other musicians who say, wow, this is a breakthrough. And I can't believe it's this easy to play slide. And number two, that I can use all my fingers. I can play chords. I can do scale runs. I can do soloing. And it's right there when I want to have a slide sound.
Yeah, and you know, they can actually see some of this in action. Obviously, they can't see it in action right now. They will be hearing it very shortly. But they can see some of it in action at the www.slidewinderring.com, SLIDEWINDERRING.com. So they can go there and see some videos, right?
That's correct. Our product is called the Slidewinder Ring. I founded a company called Slidewinder. We're a C corporation. And by the way, we're seeking accredited investors who also happen to be musicians, because this is a lot of fun to be part of this project. So we do have videos working with several different types of instruments. We haven't talked about this, but this is an analog technology. There's nothing digital. There's no batteries, power, or anything. It's strictly a ring.
It's just all natural rare earth metal, right?
Yeah, that was the secret breakthrough, and it really is simple to adopt and a whole lot of fun. But we've practiced with bass and banjo and acoustic guitar, electric guitar. We really haven't found too many limitations, which is wonderful.
And the cool thing is you've already got them made, so the investment piece that you're looking for really is more from a manufacturing standpoint. Is that not correct?
That's right. It turns out that the 95% of the people who I represent who have always been seduced by slide, tried it a few times, got limited results, and ended up giving up. That 95% of the market who are not, regular slide players are really taking to this. So the market has turned out to be much larger than we realized. And of course, there are the other instruments as well.
Yeah, Paul, what was your experience with it when you've been playing with it? You've been doing it a lot, and actually, our keyboard player has one too. We should probably find out what Josh thinks.
And I'm one of those people that I never really got deeply into slide because of all the limitations you spoke about. And I think with Hendrix, the version I heard is he grabbed like a Zippo lighter and just kind of used that as a slide. But yeah, I have the same problem where unless you're dedicated to playing slide, like you have to have this hunk of glass or metal on your finger, and you can't really shape chords. So when I met you at NAMM and tried this out, for listeners who can't see it, the slide is actually angled. It's at an angle, so you could flex your finger around it, which allows you much more mobility, and you could actually shape chords and play scales almost as free as you would without it. So you could go from playing your normal style and throw in a couple of licks here and there, or a little solo here and there, and it's very different. And Alex was actually kind enough to give me a couple of samples, and I ran into our keyboard player from our band, and he was very, very impressed with it. He's like, "Oh man, I got to get me one of these." And I said, "Why? What do you need a slide for?" And he said that he's actually experimented with a grand piano, where he'll take a bar magnet and drag it across the strings on a grand piano.
Right.
So that's something he's messed around with. So I gave him the other one to experiment with. I need to ask him how that's been going.
Fascinating.
So even piano players, check it out.
Everybody needs one of these. So
or two.
And if you want to get in on the ground floor and get a great investment, you can talk to Alex. You can send him a message over at let me look at this again. Slidewinderring.com. SLIDEWINDERRING.com.
Thank you.
So they can definitely take a look at that. So, who are some of the people that are using your wonderful product?
Sure. Well, actually, it's surprising that it was only about a year and a half ago that I came up with this invention, And pretty much everybody that we've approached has tried it and has fallen in love with it. But, for example, Joe Perry we met fairly early on.
Oh, wow.
And he ended up taking several back. And as I understand it, with his holiday album, he recorded one track using it, at least one track.
Nice.
cool.
That is very cool. Joe Perry's awesome. Little
Right.
Aerosmith, you know.
Definitely. And
Alumni.
I'm sorry, I wanted to put a plug out to one of our bass players on the team, Tony Saunders.
Okay.
Is working with it, and if what his early results are any indication of, this is going to be quite ear-catching.
Yeah, you were mentioning because I was like, you asked me if I tried it, you know, in the green room there, and I was like, I'm a bass player, and you're like, well, that's the cool stuff to try it with. So definitely, I want to give that a shot. So you know, we want to encourage you folks to take a look at the website, to take a look at the all the gear that's there. We're going to be talking to you. We've got about 45 seconds on this segment to get to the next one. But the next one, we're going to be doing some jamming around. So you and Paul are going to be playing a lot and then talking about the techniques. And what we basically want you to do is give Paul a lesson on how to use it. Because there is you have to do some adjustment. You have to there's a learning curve with it.
Yes.
You have to kind of give yourself some time to kind of use it. But once you do, it's amazing, and the results that you are doing are going to be amazing. So, you know, with that said, so is there anybody else you want to give a shout out to in the next 15 seconds?
Yes, my development team, who I have to thank in a big way, Mick Schaefer, John Baker, and David Gerbic have been absolutely essential in developing some of these techniques and showing me how to use it too. I learned from them.
Awesome. You know, great folks. This has been the Changing Stage Radio Show. Stay tuned for the next segment of the extended edition of the Changing Stage Radio Show today. We are powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, where it's Wade's Playground, and we love it here. And, you know, we're brought to you by SIR Music Equipment Rental, pitbullaudio.com. Hopefully they'll be carrying it. Maybe we'll talk to them about taking a look at your stuff.
Sure.
We'll be right back for a jamming session in a few short moments.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
In the military, things can change in an instant. The Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect. Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, this is the second segment of the Changing Stage radio show, powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks and brought to you by SIR Music Equipment Rental and pitbullaudio.com. They just want you to play it loud over there. And this segment, I'm going to actually turn it over. I'm going to start it off, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Paul Berezetsky, who is my producer and gets to be the show host today. And he's going to do some jamming with Alex from Slidewinder. And you know what, brother? Take it away, sir.
Here we go. very cool. You're doing like a two-handed technique there. You got a slide on each hand.
Yes, in fact, I have two on the right hand.
Oh, you have
and
three going on.
It lets me do sort of differential playing of right-handed technique on the bass and sometimes on the treble. But I've found that that's really a lot of fun. I have to thank my friend DC for showing me that, and also Michael Winger for showing me that right-handed technique. And you can do violin bow sounds. You can do what I call the theremin effect, which is this sort of that sort of thing. It's really a lot of fun. The textural variety has just been expanded so much that anybody who's feeling like they hit a plateau, this will bust right through that.
Yeah. So it's, if you couldn't tell, I'm probably one of the worst slide players in the world. But, I could fool him with this thing a little bit.
I couldn't tell.
So it's a little bit of an adjustment. With a regular slide, you have to press down.
Yes.
You generally need to have a guitar that's specially set up with a higher action for it.
Yes.
So that's another obstacle. And for me, someone who plays slide very rarely, normally there's also, if you don't kind of have that muscle memory yet, sometimes it's hard to tell exactly where on the fret you are, because it's a big fat glass thing, and because this is a small bar and it basically fits inside your finger, you could kind of pretty much exactly where you are, and it's easier to hit correct notes.
Yes. And to add to that, just a moment about that, because that's a very important point, and what's not apparent, and of course you have to feel this, is that as my friend Mick Schaefer pointed out, when you slide, it stops on a dime because it's actually grabbing the strings, and it's very controllable in that sense. The precision and the articulation, the tonal control, the intonation it's actually grabbing the strings. So when you want to stop, you just stop moving your hand, and you never overshoot. It stops exactly where you want it to be.
Right. So probably the biggest trick, the biggest adjustments to do from switching to regular slide is to learn not to push down. You let the magnet just grab the string, and you just kind of hover over it.
That's a very important point, because especially people who play slide currently, that's probably the hardest, not so intuitive adjustment, is that normally you have to adjust your muscle memory to allow for that technique where you have to adjust for how hard you press down and differentially across the strings. But one of the special features of this particular ring design is I've normalized the magnetic field across all strings so that it doesn't grab the bass strings harder than the treble strings. You just lay it flat right on the strings. It creates perfect technique as soon as you just barely touch. And it's really more of a glide. It's not a slide. It's just barely moving it across the strings. And the great thing is you don't have to think about how hard to press down and make any adjustments up and down the neck. It actually does that evenly and consistently the whole way up and down, and makes it really easy to play.
Yeah, and I was able to do a B7 chord in the turnaround, which I need to flex my middle finger for normally, and if I was playing a regular slide, I don't think I'd be able to pull that off.
That's a really important point, because that angle that was mentioned previously, and you pointed out very eloquently, that it basically allows your fingers to move around the slide bar. You can have nearly a full-length slide that you never make any shifts or adjustments, and you really do have full utility of your fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very cool. And I think the one warning you gave me at NAMM is don't put this in next to your wallet with your credit cards,
or your pacemaker if you have them. I understand. The standard warning, anytime you buy something that's strongly magnetic, it's got that little sticker on there that says, keep that away from electronics, like flash drives, for example, credit cards, that sort of thing. But other than that, it's totally safe and non-toxic and ergonomic, and I'm sure a few other things, not non-hypoallergenic. It's really a friendly thing, and you really don't have to worry about other things, how to store it and so on. I actually find it works really well by grabbing the back of the headstock on the tuning keys as a storage place for it.
Yeah, that's another thing. I thought that's pretty cool. Just toss it somewhere on your guitar behind the tuning pegs, just somewhere, anything with metal. And you got some cool designs going on. You got one with like a snake.
Well, this is one of the requirements that people have. They say, well, no matter how cool it really is playing, and we like that, it's got to look cool.
Yeah.
And so we have some designs that we're coming out with that are pretty attractive, and people actually say they might wear it just as jewelry even when they're not planning to play guitar, because it does look cool.
Yeah. And if people want to buy these, they go to your website?
Yes, please. And they can send any information about questions. We're going to have them in local boutique guitar stores fairly shortly, so people who want to demo it, we're going to have a list of those places who are selling and demoing our ring. We're going to have that on our website. And if we don't have one in a town near you, then go ahead and get in contact with us, and we'll arrange a way for you to do that. But we are selling direct as well as through boutique guitar stores. So I will say this, anybody who runs a boutique guitar store or a studio or a school, please get in touch with us, and we'll set you up so that you can sell these and demo them.
Cool. Awesome. Let's play them out. We got about 30 seconds left.
Sure. Take it away.
And these sweet sounds are brought to you by The Changing Stage on WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.